Hey everyone, my name is Abigail Shannon, and today we're going to be talking about Angkor Wat. Now, Angkor Wat is the image that's in the back of this. It's a Hindu temple, but for clarity's sake, Angkor Wat is one small section of a very large complex called Angkor. But let's get into Angkor Wat itself. Like I said, title of the work, it's Angkor Wat. It was created by King Suryavarman II. He came to power in around 1113 CE and commissioned, better use of the word. He did not create this. He did not get his hands dirty. He is a king. But he commissioned this building in 1116 CE. It was laborers and engineers and artisans who created this building out of millions of sandstone blocks. Like I said, it is a Hindu temple created to worship the god Vishnu, who is the uh, preserver, protector of the universe. And it is currently standing and originally stood in the Siem Reap province in Cambodia. Now, like I said, this is a small portion of a very large complex. The large complex itself is about 400 square kilometers. Angkor Wat, the one section, is only a few miles. This image on the right actually is an inscription or decoration on the walls of one of the many walls of Angkor Wat. The whole temple is just filled with beautiful, beautiful images. And this is depicting one of the many epics of Hindu lore. To understand Angkor Wat itself, it's important to know the history of Hinduism. It's one of the oldest religions in the world. It's over 3,500 years old. And Hinduism is not as strict, I guess, as other religions. It doesn't have a specific founder. It doesn't have one specific sacred text. They're very philosophical, and they ask questions like what is life, what is self, what is after death, what's the purpose. And essentially, what I wrote here was that a human being's basic nature is not confined to the body or the mind. Beyond both of these is the spirit or the spark of God within the soul, which essentially means like a human isn't just itself. There's so much more, and the world is God or whatever. Also, it's important to understand religious temples throughout culture. They believed it to be a resting place for deities. If a god came down from the heavens, or whatever you'd like to call them, they did need a place to sleep, and they couldn't just sleep on the dirt. They needed this glorious temple to be built for them, or people believed that to be the case. Obviously, it's a wonderful place of worship, and just like today, culturally, it was a hub for community life. Angkor Wat itself represents the universe. Not only is it symbolic in the fact that it's a religious temple, but is symbolic in the way it looks. Now, Angkor Wat has a moat around it, which represents what Hindus believe is the cosmic ocean. There are terraces throughout that represent the levels of the cosmos, and then there are five big pillars, spindles, whatever you'd like to call them, throughout as well, that represent Mount Meru, which is where the gods reside. Um, this temple, like I said before, is dedicated to Vishnu. Um, and again, that image that you saw on the last slide was one of the many images throughout this temple complex that tell stories of Hindu culture. Moving forward to contemporary significance, Angkor Wat is probably one of the more well-known heritage sites and buildings or symbols throughout the world, next to the Taj Mahal, perhaps. It's represented in lots of Asian media or Asian seasons, quote unquote, of media like Tomb Raider and Uncharted, season of Survivor. They spent some time in Angkor Wat. Moving on to Cambodia itself, the temple complex of Angkor is featured on the flag of Cambodia, and it unified the Khmer people throughout history. If anyone knows about the Khmer Rouge, spoiler alert, not so great. Uh, this was built in that time period. And also moving forward, Angkor Wat is a UNESCO heritage site. It is spurred conservation efforts throughout the world. It attracts visitors. It is an active place not for Hindu worship anymore, but for Buddhist worship, and it is a wonderful place for lots of people to get together and celebrate history as well as religious importance. So thank you so much for watching. This is obviously my I were excited, and I hope you guys learned a little bit more about Angkor Wat.